Have a look at this crane. They're cutting down a tree by the looks of it, I think. But that's not why you called. Hang on. So I've got some very, very interesting things to say. Now, I watched a video, some doctor, I hadn't watched a video of his before, but he was saying that there are two ways to give an injection. Into the bloodstream or into a muscle. Into the bloodstream, that's, you know, what the smackheads do. We all understand. Into the arm, or sometimes they put it in their bloody, between their toes, I don't know. You see all sorts of stuff on bloody movies about it. And then there is the intramuscular injections, which are the vaccines. And they go into the muscle so that it's a slow release, so it spreads through your body slowly. And if it gets into your vein, it goes quickly and gets to your heart and causes problems. And then this guy showed video after video after video of doctors in Australia, in England, in America, all over the place. Oh, so, I skipped a bit. When you give an intramuscular injection, you put the needle in, then you pull back, which is called aspiration. You aspirate it, you pull it back, and if blood comes into the syringe, then you're in a vein, and you can't give the injection because it'll cause problems. And so you stick it somewhere else. And so you've got to check that you're not in a blood vessel when you stick it in the muscle, because muscles are full of blood vessels. And so what all these doctors in Australia, America, UK were doing, were not aspirating. I'll let these people past. So the Western doctors were not aspirating. Well, they weren't doctors actually. They were just, you know, doilies seconded into the bloody what do you call it? Into like the vaccination centres, the big vaccination centres they hired. See, in Australia they give 20 million people a dose, and there weren't enough doctors and nurses, so they got all these people in to do it in the centres, and they didn't train them properly. They did not aspirate. They'd stick the needle into the arm and then just push the injection in straight away without checking if it's in a vein or not. And now, and they showed Chinese doctors doing it correctly. So no one in the West was doing it. Well, the doctors and nurses, if you went to a proper hospital, had a proper doctor or a proper nurse, they would have done it properly. They would have checked for aspiration. But if you went to one of these stupid COVID hubs where they're not trained and they don't know what they're doing, they weren't checking for aspiration. And you think of all the thousands they would do in a day, if they checked for aspiration, it would take them twice as long. So they're just being lazy, and they were incorrectly trained, and they have stuck them quite possibly into a lot of veins without knowing, and then caused the problem. So now, let's think about this. I hope I'm not being too bloody long-winded, but all these amateurs with, you know, 1 hour training, given the COVID shots in the COVID centres. Now, we've got, like, I don't know, what is it? There's a lot of people who have problems from, you know, myocarditis, pericarditis. Now, I had assumed this was from the vaccination, but I am now thinking, no, it's from incorrectly given vaccinations in these COVID hubs, where they've stuck it into someone's vein, and then it's gone straight to the heart, myocarditis. Makes sense, doesn't it? So maybe there is not a giant conspiracy to kill the population of the world with vaccines. Maybe there's just a lot of very poorly delivered vaccines. Alright, I think I've said all I want to say. But I'll just finish off. So that's good news, isn't it? That's very good news. If that is the case, if it is not a huge conspiracy to destroy the Western world, it's just a bunch of idiots who are poorly trained.